All right. Welcome, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I think someone, like most people, are coming in. So, good evening, and thank you for taking your time and joining our today's events with PMI Indonesia chapter. And with me, Rati, who's going to be your host tonight. And we have our distinguished speaker here, Adebayo Ajayi, or in short, Ade, coming all the way from Canada, who's going to studying with us together about the Leading with Impact in PRANKS 121st. So this is the summary of today's event, what you're going to have about transforming project management through vision and leadership. So the session will equip anyone inspired to be project managers or project managers with the essential leadership skills to inspire different teams, align stakeholders with compelling project vision, and navigate complex challenges with adaptability and emotional intelligence. It sounds more like an agile approach. And to foster a transformative approach to leadership that drives impactful project success in dynamic and evolving environments. And to get to know us better with the speaker today, this is Adebayo Ajayi, MBA, PMP, PMI, ACP, is a seasoned project manager, consultant based in Ontario, Canada. So he has consistently delivered complex projects. He holds an MBA from the University of East London and is currently a PhD candidate at Oral Roberts University, USA. He's also certified in PMP and PMI ACP and also Six Sigma Black Belt. As a senior manager, there are, I'm sure, are plenty to be learned from him as a PMO at a consumer goods company, and he has worked across 3 continents and multinational firms as well. So I think without further ado, I just pass this on to Adebayo to just teach us about whatever he knows better in project management and transformation itself. The stage is yours, Ade.
Thank you so much, Rati. Hi, everyone. Good day. I hope everyone is doing great today. I would just like to share my slides, even as we go into the presentation for today. Okay, I believe you can see my slides now. Awesome. Thank you. Once again, good evening. And this is morning in Canada, and I'm happy to be here today. I'll just go through my presentation, and I would love to take as many questions as possible towards the end of my presentation. I'll be talking about how to lead with impact, basically transforming project management through visionary leadership. And I'll be focused on strategies to use to inspire your project team members, how to drive innovations, and how to deliver exceptional results. Before I start, I would like to have this meeting opener. Feel free to use the chat. Can you mention the name of someone who has influenced you in your personal or professional life? I would just like to take as many answers as possible. You can use the chat to put your response. I would like you to mention some of the names of someone or people who has influenced you in your personal or professional life. Okay, so I'll be looking through the chat to see some of the responses. Okay, great. I've seen one. Thank you. My wife and sons, awesome. I've seen father. Thank you. Any other person? Mother, awesome. Please keep your response coming. My father, awesome. Any other response? Someone different from family member, maybe? Teacher, okay, thank you. Family, thank you. My mother and my wife, awesome, awesome. Any other response? Anyone that is probably not a family member? Anyone that, does anyone have anyone that has influenced him or her that, in your personal and professional life that is probably not a family member? Maybe someone randomly, maybe your boss at work, or, any mentor, any coach, or anyone you've probably, seen in a conference, or any book you've read, and, someone that really inspired you. Anybody? I'll just take 2 or 3 more responses. Okay, I'm seeing Ratty. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, great, great. Just 2 more responses and then we'll continue. 2 more responses. Okay, I'm seeing Reza. Awesome, awesome. 1 more response and we'll continue. Alan. Okay, good. I saw ChatGPT. Amazing. All right, great. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for your responses. Elon Musk. Awesome, awesome. Okay, great. Thank you so much for your responses. The reason why I asked this is that people pay attention to the good things you do to them. So you might not know, but when you do something great to people, people take note of it and it really matters to them and to the rest of the world. Awesome. Okay. Why does visionary leadership matter? Visionary leaders drive long-term growth and innovation in organizations of all sizes. So if you're a visionary leader, you are not just thinking about the immediate needs of the people or the team, but you are thinking about the long-term effects of everything you do today within the organization. Visionary leaders are also people that are willing to innovate as much as possible. And the amazing thing about visionary leadership is that visionary leadership or visionary leaders don't just focus on the end result, they also focus on people. And that's why if a visionary leader, you are in your project, when you're working on a project, you are there to inspire your team to achieve ambitious goals that actually seemed impossible. And also, we are in a world called VUCA. The world is volatile, so many uncertainty. The world is complex. And you will then realize that only visionary leaders can actually survive these current days because of the competitive advantage of visionary leadership. Now, what are the things that defines visionary leadership? Number 1, visionary leaders are future focused. And I said to you that the leadership style that visionary leadership uphold is that it creates a compelling vision for the future. So as a visionary leader, you are not just thinking about today, you are thinking about tomorrow. You are thinking about the effect of every single thing you do today, tomorrow. So as a visionary leader, you are there thinking about what exactly is the future of this organization, what exactly is the future of this project. And also, visionary leaders are innovation driven. The reality is that there is actually nothing completely new. Every new thing you see now is an innovation of what has been existing. And that's why, as a visionary leader, when you have, a case study, when you have a situation, the best thing to do is to ask yourself, what exactly are the breakthrough solutions that I can do in this current existing process that can bet innovation? And number three, visionary leaders are purpose-oriented. They motivate team with a powerful shared sense of purpose. Just think about this. As a project manager, you're working on a project and the rest of the team members does not even know the objective of the project. All you need to do is that every single time you have an opportunity for a team meeting, you need to keep reiterating the overall objective and the purpose of the project within the team. Now, I'm going to be talking about some core principles of visionary leadership. And one is clear vision. It's one thing to have a vision, is another thing for your vision to be very clear to every single members within your team. So it's not just to have a vision, it's to have a compelling vision that every single person can relate with. So when you are working on a project, you are working on a task, ensure that the vision is very clear. The vision is not ambiguous. The vision is what every single person can relate with in a very practical way. Number two core principle of visionary leadership is strategic innovation. Don't just innovate for the sake of it. When you are innovating, ensure that you create a brainstorming system, or more like, a strategic room where people can come with different ideas in order for them to be able to innovate or bet new process in an existing system. Motivational example, let yourself be a reflection of the principles you want within your project team members. Don't just say what you want, do what you want, and it will be a lot easier for people to relate with you as a visionary leader. Now, what exactly are some challenges facing project management today? I will start with rapid change. There is PMO 3.0, but I would like to start with what I call PMO 1.0. PMO 1.0 basically is the traditional or waterfall project management, where you have to do a detailed planning before you execute. And then, before we knew it, we came across PMO 2.0. What exactly is PMO 2.0? That is the Agile framework. And in the world of Agile, we know that you don't have to have all the scope clearly defined. Just start with the project, and then the scope keeps getting clearer. And then we came across PMO 3.0 that talks about the hybrid approach, that you don't have to use the waterfall model in detail, or you don't have to use waterfall model in detail, or you don't have to use the traditional and the agile. You can combine the two. And PMO 3.0 also states that when you're working on a project, the project must be aligned with the strategic objective of the organization. So that's one of the challenges, rapid change. And I want to talk about these challenges to see how exactly visionary leadership can help us solve this challenge. Number two is complexity. Project management has to do with managing multiple stakeholders in different cross-function. You manage people in the operations, supply chain, finance, marketing, IT, and all. So because of there are a lot of stakeholders which, different things appeal to them. When you're talking about the salespeople, what matters to them is the numbers. When you talk about marketing, what appeals to them is the brand. So you need to understand that when working with different stakeholders, you need an underlying factor that can bring everyone together. And number three is resilience. As we know, change is the only constant thing. And that's why in project management, more than 50% of projects don't even meet their requirements. We need to have a system that gives room for adaptability and ensures that when there's constant disruption, the project still keeps going as planned. And the last one is engagement. We realize that team members work on multiple projects, or some team members even have their own core functions. And sometimes, in order to get the engagement of team members, it becomes a bit difficult. And team struggles with motivation and purpose. That's why, with all these challenges, you can see that it is critical that only visionary leaders can actually make the best use of every project that they have to deliver. Now let's talk about the difference between visionary leadership and the called traditional project management. A typical project manager just focuses on the task and the deliverables, while a visionary project manager will think about what exactly is the purpose of this project and what impact will this project have in the environment and within the customer. Number two is budget constraints. As a typical project manager, what you think about is, I want this project to meet the required cost. I don't want this project to exceed the cost. But as a visionary leader, you are thinking beyond just, managing budget. You are asking yourself, how best can I optimize my project production cost such that I can maximize profits, and at the end of the day, I'm going to make the best value for my clients. Number three, a typical project manager will focus on managing project schedule only. But a visionary leader will think about, what are the future possibilities? How can I, conserve time and even finish this project earlier than planned? And another one is, a traditional project manager will want to avoid risk as much as possible. And a visionary leader will think about, how can I maximize some of the opportunities that I can see within my risk, which are the positive risk, and how can I make best use of it? And the last one here, a traditional project manager will think about, how exactly can I manage my resources? How can I manage the people? I can manage the time. How can I manage, the cost? While a visionary leader will think about inspiring people rather than managing, people. We think about, how can I inspire these people to get their best on this project and to get their commitment all through the course of this project. Now, I realize that it's one thing to have a compelling vision, is another thing to communicate the vision. How can you craft and communicate the vision? Number one, set bold goals. Let every single person within the project team understand the objective of the project, and don't just set objective that is probably easy to attain, that will not stretch, individuals. I realize that when you set ambiguous and stretchy goals, it also makes people better as well. Craft the story. There's something called the art of storytelling. Give stories that can inspire emotional connection within the project team, so that every single person understand exactly their part on that project. And the last one here is align with mission. Connect project goals with broader organization purpose. And this is what I call the PMO 3.0, where project goals have a direct relationship with the strategic objective of the organization. Don't run projects for the sake of it. Run projects that takes the company forward into where they need to be. Now, the second thing is strategic thinking. I mentioned that as soon as you have a compelling vision, the next thing is that you foster strategic thinking within the project. Anticipate challenges. As a good project manager, it's one thing to think about, how best can I maximize my time on this project? It's another thing for you to anticipate challenges. In anticipating challenges, this goes into risk management. As a project manager, your ability to manage risk basically shows how effective you will be as a project manager. So it's extremely important that as a project manager, you are thinking about how best you can manage project risk. Number two, challenge status quo. Question assumptions. Identify new opportunities. Don't just be okay with the surface results. Ask yourself, how best can we go further on this project? How best can we manage time? How best can we manage people on this project? And the last one under the strategic thinking is build a team culture that tackles challenges proactively. There would always be challenges on every project. Your ability to manage those challenges is what shows how effective you will be as a project manager. So don't be afraid of problems. In short, see problem as challenges and be able to go beyond the challenges that you experience on your project. How do you foster innovation within your project team? The first one is encourage creative input. There was a time on my project that I had what is called a root cause analysis session, where I had everyone together in the same room, and I gave everyone a sticky note, and I asked people to how do you think you can solve this challenge? Write on a sticky note, paste on the wall, and let's discuss one by one. So create that room that that ensures that there is enough brainstorming opportunities and people can ask questions as well. Support risk taking. Celebrate well-considered risk. So, like I said, ensure that people always identify risk. Risk identification is not just the work of a project manager. I always say this, a lot. Risk identification is not the work of a project. It's not just the work of a project manager. It's the work of the project team members. So, as much as possible, encourage your team members to identify risk. In your sequence of meetings as a project team members, put agendas to allow people to even talk about risk as well. Very important. Learn from all outcomes. Treat both success and failures as valuable learning opportunity. There is nothing perfect, and when you see some challenges or failures, take it as a learning point and use that to advance on your project. How do you inspire and motivate your team? Like I said, model passion. When you come on your project team, show them that you like this project, and the enthusiasm that you show them is basically what they would also follow through. So ensure that you demonstrate authentic enthusiasm for the project vision. Number 2, empower others. Give other people opportunity to take a lead in key initiatives. One of the things I also do is that I send agenda for my project meeting in advance, and I put name tags of people that will be able to lead such key initiatives. Extremely, extremely important. And build trust. Create that psychological safety through respect and transparency in your project team as much as possible. Okay. There was an example of visionary project management process, which was in the US when there was this NASA's Apollo's program. Basically, when John F. Kennedy mentions that there's a vision to visit the moon, and the vision was extremely clear. And one thing that happened during the whole NASA's Apollo program / project was that there was a lot of inspirational talk. John F. Kennedy kept talking about why it is important they go to the moon, talking to the Americans that this is the time for Americans to do this and all. There were a lot of motivation, inspiration. There was clear sense of urgency, and there was clear direction. And as we saw that, what was the result? There was breakthrough in technological innovation. People thought about, how can we achieve this objective of visiting the moon? Things that never existed before. There was breakthrough in that, and there was collaboration. Moving to the moon involves a lot of parties, and not just the person that will even go into the moon. And as well as they were able to achieve the impossible because they had a goal with a deadline. And they also inspired generations of future leaders to do the impossible things as well. Adaptability and resilience. Number 1, there would always be challenges on your project. So as a visionary leader, anticipate challenges by conducting a well-defined risk identification process. As soon as you identify your risk, ensure that you are able to quantify those risks as well as qualify them and assign the appropriate risk responses. And once you see some risk, adjust the process to ensure that the mitigation factors are in place and the effect of that risk on your project is minimal. Reassure your team members that we've identified some of these risks. These are some mitigation actions, and we believe that if we apply those mitigation actions, the project will not be delayed. And optimize. It's also possible that even after you have applied your risk response, something still goes wrong as well. So it's important to keep evolving and evolving, which is called continuous improvement as well. Visionary leaders anticipate challenges before they arise. They adjust quickly when plans need changing. So ensure that as much as possible, it is extremely important for you to always plan for changes. Good. And also, during time of uncertainty like COVID-19, ensure that you live with confident optimism. You need to ensure that you find new ways to do things if the old ways are not giving you the desired results. And one of the things I always like to say to project managers is that we need to lead by example. Demonstrate what you expect. Number one, show commitment to the vision and to the project objective. Display integrity in all decisions. Follow through on promises consistently. When there is a reward and recognition system, ensure that you do that as much as possible. Maintain transparency about challenges. Model the work ethic you'd expect and share credit generously with the team. As basic as, oh, thank you so much, Rati, for this part of the project. You've done excellently well. That is just a way to show credit to the team members and others be motivated to do more as well. How do you empower team members for growth? Because visionary leaders are leaders that empower their team members. Support learning. There are sometimes in the project team that you realize that a team member has a knowledge gap. Before you just go externally to recruit people, support learning. Create an opportunity for skill development and knowledge sharing. Also, help team members achieve their personal and professional goals when possible. Provide feedback. I realize that a lot of people wait till appraisal time before they give feedback. It is not a way to help people grow. In order for you to help people grow, you give feedback instantly so that they adjust as early as possible. And delegate as well. Like I said, as project managers, you cannot do everything. Delegate as much as you can. Also, align vision with stakeholders' needs. Communicate progress. It's one thing to have your project team meetings, it's another thing to communicate. Ensure that the minute of the meeting is sent across to everyone. Everyone has an understanding of where the project is at that point and what they need to do next on the project. Number two, involve stakeholders. Don't just, send minutes of meetings to people within the current meeting. There are some stakeholders like your project sponsors that might not necessarily be in the every week project meeting. Involve the stakeholders in refining the vision and making critical decisions as well. Build relationship within your team and ensure that you adapt to feedback as much as you can. Strategic foresight. Strategic foresight is the ability to anticipate trends and opportunity. So there are some times that you see that, oh, there's an advantage on this project. I'm going to give you a very basic example. I'm based in Canada, and there was a time I was working on a project which has to do with building a new manufacturing plant. And we were actually building some equipment from Italy, Europe. And I realized that the conversion rate of euros to dollars was a bit lower than it used to be. What did I do? All we needed to do was to meet our project sponsor, and we made a lot of payments in advance to take advantage of the low conversion of euros to dollars. And we're able to save almost 500,000 US dollars just going with that. We saw that there was a low trend of euros to US conversion, and we took advantage of that, and we made payments to our vendor in Italy earlier than planned. Number two, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence starts with self-awareness and social awareness. You need to understand your risk triggers. You need to understand, what gets you upset in the project team and how you can avoid those things, and how to manage people and inspire people as well. Decisive action. It is very important that you make some decisions early on in your project so that you can take advantage of what is going to go on in your project. Tools and techniques for visionary leaders. Vision roadmaps. Every time you go for a project meeting, ensure that you show the critical parts of the project. Extremely important, extremely important. Let everyone know exactly where you are going to, where the project is, and what next you need to do on the project. Number 2 is storytelling workshops. Build sessions that build narratives and team cohesion. There are sometimes that you even forget about the project. You try and build a team together, ensure that all the team members are aligned with what you need to do on the project. Extremely important. And dedicate some time from brainstorming activities, which I call innovation lab here. Now, this is called innovation lab because it gives an opportunity for you to have cross-functional creativity and problem solving. Now, I'm showing a chart here. Basically, this chart shows the impact of visionary leadership in employee engagement. The dark blue bar shows a typical project manager. The employee engagement is basically lower, is about 60%. But with visionary leadership, employee engagement is almost 90%. On-time delivery of projects as well increases when you imbibe the visionary leadership approach. Innovation rate is definitely higher as well, and stakeholders are well satisfied when you use the visionary approach. How do we develop visionary leaders? So in case some of us are on this call and we are people's manager, formal training, you can send people to go for leadership development programs where they see that their task on the project is not just a project manager, but even project leaders, where they manage people, inspire people to achieve consistent project results. Mentoring as well, when you can also establish a coaching relationship or a peer learning network where people have opportunity to imitate great leaders and see what they can do on subsequent projects. Stretch assignments. Providing challenging opportunities build leadership muscle. So don't get tired of saying that why are these project objectives pretty difficult? When you have challenging opportunities, you build competence as a leader. And the most important one is supportive culture. Create an environment where visionary thinking is valued and rewarded, so that people know exactly what they need to do and the impact of what they need to do when they are doing it. In conclusion, so that I can take as many questions as possible, visionary leadership transforms project managers into catalysts for meaningful change, and long-term success comes from inspiring people and not just managing tasks. Lead with vision, create impact that lasts beyond just your project timelines, and that you will then realize that the best way to predict the future is to create the future. Thank you so much, Rati. I think I can take the questions now.
All right. That's very short, Ade. Thank you for the explanation. Actually, we have already 4 questions in the chat box.
Okay.
But before, I think we have plenty of time to answer each of them.
Okay.
But before we go to the questions in the chat box, I have the questions on my own. On the slide before, you show about the stakeholders alignment. So when you have multi-stakeholders in your project and everyone thinks that they have the highest urgency and should get the highest priority, as a PM, what would you do?
Okay, good. That's a very good question, Rati. One thing I realized is that project managers tend to prioritize by themselves. When you want to prioritize stakeholders' need, bring all those stakeholders together in a team meeting, and then let everyone in that meeting come together to make the priority. So you can use different model. You can use the literal priority model by numbering. Say, okay, these are everything we need to do. What is number one? What is number two? Or you can use the Moscow technique. Moscow technique says, what are the things that we must do? What are the things that we should do? What are the things that we could do? What are the things that we will do when we have time? So the summary to that, the summary of my answer to that response is that do not prioritize on your own. Bring all the stakeholders to that meeting and let all the stakeholders together with you prioritize all the requirements and the to-dos. And you would think that your life, you realize that your life becomes a lot easier prioritizing because they just come together to prioritize themselves.
All right, good point. Thanks, Ade. So let me just take a look into the chat box, and I'm just going to read it from the first coming questions. This one is from Hansen Manuturi. So he needs an explanation from you on how to actively engage with strategic thinking as project manager in order to ensure that project contributes to long-term success. What's your take?
Good. So strategic thinking is, like I said, about PMO 3.0, which says that for every project within an organization, it ties to the strategic objective of the organization. So how do you actively engage in strategic thinking as a PM? Why are you working on the project? What are the project objectives? Now, what is that direct correlation with the long-term objective of that organization? Then ask yourself, how exactly can I maximize this outcome? You can actively engage strategic thinking by brainstorming within the team. You ask your team together, okay, this is the current situation. How best can we maximize this long-term objective? Number two is that, sometimes when you reduce your project cost, for example, if you have about $10 million to work on the project, and if you use less than $10 million to actually implement the project, what that means is that you've reduced your payback period of the outcome of that project. What it also means is that you've also maximized profit, because imagine you use $8 million to work on the project, and the project, on the business case development, the revenue is maybe about $10 million. So technically the profit before you start the project is about $2 million. But if you use lower than that, you have actually increased the proposed profit as well. So if you try to minimize your project cost, you are actually trying to contribute to the long-term success of that of the product. Number two, if you're able to meet the project timeline or even earlier than that, what has happened is that your payback period is actually shorter than it can be. So how to actively engage, try as much as possible to minimize the project constraints, and you can go into brainstorming session with your team members to get what you want on time.
All right. Does it answer your question, Pa Hansen? Can we see a thumbs up if it does?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Fatih.
Right.
You're welcome.
Perfect. So I think we can move on to the next question. This one is coming from Ahmad Yani. This is a comparison questions about traditional versus visionary leadership. Which approach applies to which circumstances?
Okay. Thank you for that question. So what we are trying to do in today's discussion is to see that the traditional project management is basically limiting us and is limiting project outcomes. So what we are trying to say is that rather than just managing project schedule, try as much as possible to contribute to the long-term effect of the project. So what I'm saying is that let's move from that traditional cap of just working as a project manager without trying to contribute to the long-term effect of the project objective, as well as without trying to inspire the team to start doing all these things. So what you should do is that every single time you're working on a project, ask yourself that, how best can I apply the visionary leadership style on this project? Are you inspiring your team members? Are you motivating your team members? Are you carrying out the risk management approach together with your team members? So this is basically what I try to say that, traditional project management is limiting. Let us adopt the visionary leadership style in all our projects.
All right. Is it clear, Ahmad Yani?
Yes, thank you.
No follow-up questions? Feel free to ask if you do have.
Okay, no, fair enough.
All right. Okay. Great job, Ade. So next question is coming from Pugu Hermawan. In transformation project, what do you think about the involvement of top management leadership? What kind of support that must be provided by them? What should they do?
It's a very good question. And I also think that visionary leadership cannot be well executed without the support of top management leadership. And I'm not going to talk about what the top management leadership should do, but I'm going to talk about what you can do to bring them in. Try as much as possible to carry the top leadership along. You know, when you're working on the project, let them know exactly, you know, the style you want to adopt. Let them know the support that you require of them as much as possible. I realize that sometimes the barrier is just communication. So the straight answer to this question is yes, top leadership, top management have a lot of roles to play on this visionary leadership and on transformational projects. And what you need to do is to carry them along as much as possible. Start by having a project sponsors update meeting, maybe once in a month, where you let them know where the project is and the support you require from them.
Right.
Okay, may I have a follow-up questions, Bu Ratna?
Okay,
Sure.
great.
Okay,
Shoot.
Ade. So, what if the initiative or the objective and of the transformation project itself is quite clear, and sometimes the top management is like reluctant, and we try to get we try to have their buy-in, and they still trying to I'm not sure, like they don't support us to execute the project. So it because of there are not support from the top management. The project manager is quite suffer uh, to to convince the people in the organization. Ade.
Yeah. Okay,
What
very
do
good
you think about
question.
that?
Yes, very good question. I'm just thinking, when I need my top management to align with what I want and they are not aligning, what do I do? I think that's your question, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay, good. What do you do? What you can do, you can't force them, of course, they are top management. So what you can do is try as much as possible that when you are meeting with them, let them know exactly the benefits of the project to the long-term effect of the organization. I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Sometimes a project might have good results and good value, but it might not really tie, or it might not really have a direct correlation with the strategic objective of the company. So when they look at your project, yeah, the project have good numbers, good initiative, but they don't really see how well that project fits into the overall strategy of the company. So what I'm going to tell you to do is, if you are experiencing that, let your project have a direct correlation or positive impact to the overall strategic objective of the company. And you will then see that they would want to listen to what you have to say.
Okay, Ade, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I guess to make this session more interactive, I will just let anyone who has dropped their questions in the chat box to just voicing out their own questions. Maybe we can start with Pa Zubaida Hasanuddin. Would you mind to just voicing out your question to Ade? Do we still have Pa Zubaida in the room? All right, maybe I just read it out for Pa Zubaida. How to drive
Okay.
business user, especially high-level management in government, to get together, change to a visionary leadership instead of traditional. Do you get the
Okay.
questions?
Yes, I do. And
All
I
right.
think I've actually tried to answer that in another question, but I'm going to still, comment on this. So change is the most difficult thing. And I just remember there's a change model, basically, which is outcome model. Outcome model says that the A then says that let people be aware that they need to change. So let them see the bottleneck or the disadvantage of the current traditional way of doing things. As soon as they are aware of the pitfalls or the cons of the current leadership model, the second thing you then do is create the desire in them for them to see the benefit. So for example, once they say that, oh, the traditional model is failing us in this area, create that desire about visionary leadership by telling them the benefit of the leadership model. Then the second one is K, which is knowledge. What exactly does the knowledge mean? Allow them, let them learn, or trainings, or visuals and all. And then when you get to the A is for them then to acquire everything they need to acquire, and the R there is reinforcement. Reinforcement basically means that even though they've learned, let there be visuals in the office, backgrounds and all, where they see the benefit of this traditional leadership as well. So let them be aware of the need for the change. Let them see the benefit of the change. And, if they need to go for some learnings, let them learn as well.
That's pretty clear. Zubaida, I hope that's fine. All right. So next up, I think we have Mas Pari Kasit. Maybe you want to voicing out your own questions, Mas Pari?
Yes, thank you for the time. Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
would like to ask about the as a leader, which one is more important? Is it having your team to have the collective empathy nurtured? It means that everybody in the team is care about one or another, or is it the performance of the team itself that needs to be prioritized? Because sometimes there are times when those two things run hand in hands, but sometimes probably we are in the business that competitiveness is a good thing, but competitiveness itself might hurt the collective empathy. What is your thought about it? Thank you.
Okay, very, very, very good question. I realized that when we focus so much on results, we don't get value, we don't build our team members up. And I think both of them are very important, and that's where visionary leadership comes in. We focus on results and we focus on inspiring team members, and we focus on collective empathy. So don't pick one over the other. Don't pick the results, and you don't use people to get results. Manage people to deliver consistent results. As long as they're focused on the project results, also focus on the welfare of people, focus on be emotionally intelligent, and be socially aware that other people are going through stuff as well. Yeah.
I hope you don't mind if I have the follow up about that.
Yes, please go ahead.
So what I get is that what's important is to inspire people to be what is it, to be their best, but also having support to their colleagues, in which by drive those things to them, it will ultimately improve the team performance. Is that what you want to say?
Can you take that again?
Yeah, I mean basically, if you take care of the team, so that
Yes.
they can have amongst themselves what is it, like a sense of like a family, for example. So your team have their own atmosphere between them, so that the collective empathy is built up amongst them. Then by the end of the results will improve the performance of the team. Is that what you want to say? I mean
That's correct.
You don't drive the performance up front, but you say to them, let's take care one of another, let's have a good time, let's cover somebody else's mistake, let's improve together, and etc etc etc. And by the end of the day, it's a team performance that it improves.
Exactly, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
All right.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you for the insight. I think that's quite helpful.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Pari. So it seems like we still have 5 more questions to go, Ade. I hope
Okay.
this won't be too long before you off to work. The next
No,
one
yes.
is from Ferli Sirait. Ferli, it's your turn to ask the question directly to Ade.
Thank you, Bu Ratih.
Right.
Good evening, Ade.
Yeah, good
From
evening.
Indonesia. I would like to ask, how do you lead a team that is resistant to organizational change, such as introducing new tools, system, and technology?
Yes. So there are some models for managing change. I'm just going to put that in the chat. You can read about it. It's very good. I mentioned that there's an outcome model. Outcome model basically means that you help your team to be aware of the change, to create the desire, to give them the knowledge and reinforce the change. There is also another model that I can recommend. It's called 7 quarter steps for managing change. So these 7 quarter steps basically means that number 1, you create that sense of urgency within the team members, and you are able to ensure that all the team members, are aware of the change. You get their commitment even before you implement. So you can, check these 2 tools, which are pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. You're welcome.
All right, next one, Pani. I hope he's still in the room.
Yes, I'm in the room. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you for the time. Hi everyone. Good evening. I have a question. I think this is like provoking question. In general point of view, what is your way out or your best advice if your current organization doesn't apply enough the good project leadership practices? Like in project, every start of the project, we have to manage good like a project environment, project communication, many things. I think. What is your best advice? Yeah. Thank you.
Very good question. You're welcome, Andy. And this is a very good question. I've been in situations that the team members basically are not just, the company as a whole, no proper documentation process, no proper project management tools as well. You can try as much as possible to implement those change you want, and then you can have a sponsor. Sponsor is maybe you have someone in the top management that leads your department that you want to align with, and then that person can also help you make those new things you are bringing in as the system or the structure. You might not even be the one to bring it in. You can discuss with the top manager that can also, that can direct the company to, to that aspect of work, in the sense that they can then employ a consultant that can help put the right systems for the project management practices. So you can start with those examples, with the right examples, so that people follow. Number 2, you can also get a sponsor among the top management that can direct you to how things should be done. Yeah.
Does it answer your question, Pandy?
Yeah. Thank you for the answer given.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Feel free if you have any follow-up questions. Before, I think we still have ample time. Otherwise, we're going to move on with Ibu Ruruh Estining Tias. This is another interesting question about traditional versus leadership. Please go ahead to ask the question directly to Ade, Ibu Ruruh.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you for the time.
Hi.
Yes, Ade, I want to ask regarding this traditional leadership. So do you think the traditional leadership is outdated, or any situation that suit with this traditional leadership? Okay, thank you.
So, you're welcome. Thank you for the question. Traditional leadership will not deliver the result we want in our current world. Because in our current world, people want, post-COVID, the world of work has changed. People want to feel inspired. People want to enjoy what they are doing. People want more empathy. People want more emotional connections. And if you also look at PMO 3.0, which is focused on project delivering long-lasting impact. So we need to switch from traditional leadership to visionary leadership. And that's my response. And not just in any situation. We can use visionary leadership in all situations.
Okay, thank you, Ade.
You're
So
welcome.
I think we need to change our mindset as soon as
Yes,
possible, right? Okay, thank you.
absolutely.
All right. Next up, Parman Yusuf, and I see you are already on cam. Go ahead and ask directly the questions to Padi.
Ok, merci beaucoup pour le temps, Ade. Je m'appelle Arman. Donc, votre expérience passée en gestion de projet, laquelle est la plus difficile à gérer, le comité de directeur ou les membres de l'équipe? Et comment gérez-vous cette difficulté? Merci beaucoup. And in English, I believe that in your past project experience, there's a lot of person in the project. Which one do you think that it is harder to be managed? The management board or the team member itself? And how do you usually handle that difficulty? Thank you.
You're welcome. I think it's the management board, because they have a way that they want things to be done. And if it's not done that way, you will not get their buy-in. And I think we as project managers, we know the direction of our top management. And what's the direction? What is the strategy objective of the company? So whatever you are doing, whatever project, try as much as possible to link it with that strategic objective, and it'll be a lot easier for you to get their buy-in.
I see. Do you think that we need to have kind of punishment to the team member, which is not making any progress with the project? What do you think?
Okay, when a team member is not, I think discipline is the core of project management, I must say, because basically what is project management? Project management is applying discipline to common sense practices. So if you take the discipline out of project management, what you have is chaos within the team. So I think discipline is important. But one thing I must say is that as long as you want to apply discipline, ensure that you also apply reward when people also do the right things, so that people will also want to fall in the space of doing the right things, rather than you're only a leader that tend to punish but don't reward. So I'm aligned with punishing any things that can make people do the right thing, but also reward good behaviors as well.
I see. Merci beaucoup pour the response.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah.
I understand a bit
Yeah.
of French as well, so good.
Yeah, fortunately, he asked the questions in English as well, because most of us here
Yeah.
speak in English instead of French. All right,
Yeah.
thanks, Parman. Last but not least, I guess we have one more question to go, coming from Lutfi Rizky Maulana. So if you want to ask the question directly to Ade, the stage is yours. Lutfi? All right. So I think I'm going to read out the questions on behalf of Lutfi. This is about how to ensure your project vision remains strategically aligned with evolving business goals, especially during periods of high uncertainty and rapid change.
Okay, how do you ensure your project vision remains strategically aligned with the evolving business goals? Very simple. We project managers, we are not the ones that give ourselves projects. I think project comes top to bottom. And when you want to work on any project, I believe that the company would have aligned those projects with the business goals. So I think that's a very straightforward answer from me. Yeah.
Jess, what do you think, Palutfi? If your microphone is fixed now, is all good? All right. So I think that will be the end of all the set of questions we have for tonight. Right. It's all good.
Thank you.
Palutfi says. So as usual, we're going to have a photo session together with the speaker and everyone who's coming to today's event. So if you don't mind, Mas Rais will lead the photo session.
Okay, wait.
Yes.
Ade, can you take down your slide? Oh, great. Slide, the last slide. Wait. Okay, everyone, we'll take a picture. Please open the camera. Okay. 1, 2, 3 for the slides. The first slide. Okay, the second slide. One, two, three, second slide. Okay, it's wrap. Thank you, Ade, for your support.
That's a wrap. Yes. Thanks, Ade. Thanks, everyone. So this session will also be available in our YouTube channels a few more weeks from now, right, Mas Rais?
Yes.
And everyone who has registered with their PMI number will certainly be automatically submitted the PDU as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I hope this session for tonight give us so much insight from Ade. And good morning to Ade because it's still like 8 maybe a.m. in Canada today. And good evening for the rest of us. Thank you, everyone. See you on the next PMI
Thank you.
Pranks
Thank you, Ade.
program.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Ade.
Yeah, thank
See you next prank.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Everyone, you are there. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone, I will close the room. Thank you.